So, good afternoon, everyone. So we reached the final statement of today. So I have the pleasure to have the closing remarks of today. So you expected, obviously, Luc Chitkat, our executive director, but unfortunately had to go on a business travel. So I'm pleased to have yours. Certainly, you see from my title, I'm a little bit centric on large aeroplanes. So I try to get everyone, kind of involved. So thanks at first for joining us to the Certification Conference 2023. I hope most of you will stick on here in Cologne for the coming 2 days because there's interesting things coming up. Tomorrow we have the POA and DOA SMS workshop, and on Thursday we will be having the Part 21 implementation workshop. So this will be most interesting, particularly the Thursday session, because there will be interactive sessions with table of experts, so there's really a good opportunity to ask questions. So what I see from the big audience here today, so the certification and DOA community is really alive, and that's a pleasure to see. And I'm really pleased to hear that nobody today mentioned ever about a virus which impacted us pretty much a couple of years ago. So I'm pleased that we are back to normal. And we had a dense agenda with many interesting presentations. And I hope we had enough room for networking, which I personally think is most important for our community to talk. Because certification is not black and white. And so I think knowing people, having trust in people, I think this is key for our business. And that's the way I used to work in the past in industry, but I also try to establish to my times here in EASA when working with you and working with my colleagues. So the morning session was pretty much more traditionally based. We had rulemaking update, Part 21 update, Part 21 Lite, which is really an interesting concept. So we need to see how this will be implemented when it's alive. We have the first projects coming in. ETSO concept, certainly something we need to work on for non-installed equipment and so on. For me, also having been working in the ETSO community, it's a challenge. Sometimes it becomes forgotten. We talk about the big beast of large aeroplanes, but also the ETSO equipment, the articles, parts and appliances is really important. So very good to hear that we have developments there and that we had nice interacting comments from you. Pretty much appreciated. We had the update from international, and this is something we need to really foster and need to improve. We need to improve harmonization with our major authority partners, but also with other authorities, because this is something we really need to have, because it was mentioned several times today. We have, all of us, an issue on resources, which is pretty much going to be emphasized in the coming years, talking about baby boomers going away, leaving business, and also the new coming technologies. So our field in certification and industry is becoming wider and wider, which is also something we need to address, impacting our resources. Industry feedback. This is something I personally appreciated the most today, because this is something what we need. We need to be challenged. We need to get your feedback to improve. I think we are doing a quite good job, and my colleagues are doing, but still there's room for improvement. And it's a bit, I don't know, I wouldn't say sad, but some of the questions I've seen today and these 5 topics you have been presented, Ian, something of, I've seen some of those almost 25 years ago when I was in industry. Late certification plans, late pre-closure, even level of involvement. Even at that time we didn't have the concept in place, because this was right after the introduction of the DOA concept, but still those questions had been asked. We never found an answer to this, but I think we are on a good way and we can only improve. In the afternoon, we had an outlook into the future. We have seen what is coming from the European Commission regarding sustainability activities, Refuel EU legislation, it was said that we need to have 70% SAF by 2050, which is one of the biggest challenges, I believe. Following that, we had the EHPS dialogue on electrical hybrid propulsion systems. Very interesting. We have first ongoing projects already that already reached into CS25. So far, we have not seen a fully electric CS25 airplane, but one day we may have it. I think we all have to respect the physics and the technology of batteries in terms of weight and power density. But one day, it will certainly come. Yeah, and the last presentation we had, and the discussion, the panel discussion we had on the future of hydrogen, which has really particular challenges. It certainly needs to be looked at, but honestly, I believe we are not there yet. But I think it's really good that industry works on it together with the regulators. So today, very often used, I think it was in every second sentence, the word challenge. We have challenges. I think as an engineer, I must say challenges are opportunities. So we need always to respect that. There may be things we may never tackle, but I think taking the opportunity, grabbing the chance, I think this is something we like, and this is what makes our business alive and interesting. Otherwise, we would do something else probably. So I talked about feedback. Please keep on challenging the EASA. Really, it's something we need, and we need to improve, because we have limited resources. We need to improve to such a high level that, what we can achieve. The portfolio of certification is widening quickly. When I think about 20, 30 years ago, it was pretty much limited, but now we are faced with new disruptive technologies, and we have new industry entrants. So we can ask the question about maturity of new products, new technologies, maturity of companies, new DOA applicants. So we think we can address it, what was said today also, with the new features of innovative partnership contracts or pre-application contracts that we can have with younger companies or also established companies to come with new technologies, novel technologies, to evaluate how we could come to the point to be able to talk about feasibility of certification. I think this is a good tool that I think it was introduced last year, and this is something we need to work to. Of course, again, talking about resources, we need to be mindful. And some of you may already heard it, that we cannot work now on your projects, on your proposals. You have to wait a little bit. But this is unfortunate, but somehow we need to tackle that and work together. Certainly what we internally face in EASA, and I think this is also with the industry partners, we have a high staff turnover. People are getting very mobile, very agile. Certification staff, DOA staff is scarce, and it depends on who makes the best offer, gets the best guy. So we are facing this. Our hiring system, and this is, I think, I had talked to 2 or 3 of your colleagues today during the breaks, is pretty much a kind of rigid system driven by European Commission law, and which makes us pretty, very slow in the hiring process, in the recruitment process. We have an establishment plan which is negotiated with the European Commission. So please forgive us. It's not that we can hire within 2 months. It's a matter of years sometimes to get experts on board and get a position free that we can hire people. So this is something we have to face. We try to tackle, we try to anticipate, also in regards of upcoming retirements and leaves, because the next 2 to 5 years may be crucial, at least on our side, when looking at the age pyramid. So we will see already, I think you have seen already a lot of new people around, but certainly you will see a lot more new faces in the coming years. Then, obviously there's a dilemma. At least I feel it like a dilemma. on one hand, we have the need for green aviation and to decarbonize air transport. On the other hand, working in the large aeroplanes field, the order books of large aircraft manufacturers and engine manufacturers are full. There are thousands of airplanes on order. Airlines are really, they are longing for airplanes. They can't get them quick enough. And there are contracts that have deliveries of conventional aircraft with big turbofan engines starting in the 2030s, which is almost 10 years from now. And they will be in service for another 20 to 30 years. So is this really something? We may only tackle this through the notion of SAF. Then you could ask yourself the question, we do it in the EU now, how is it globally? Does the entire world go with us? And do we get it in the right quantities? And this is really something for us, maybe not for EASA to tackle, it's others to tackle that, certainly the fuel industry, but this is something, another challenge or opportunity, I would say. Yeah, on the other hand, there's other issues that we shall not forget. We didn't talk about continuing airworthiness a minute today, and we still have traditional issues. We have material issues on, deficiencies of materials, talking about engines, for instance. Then we have, fatigue issues, cracks appearing, which are serving, when you look into the papers, into the media, there's quite a lot of aircraft and AOG on ground that will be coming in the next year, so impacting our traffic. So this is traditional continuing airworthiness, which we must not forget. And supply chain issues, due to this political, very difficult environment we are living in, changing on a daily basis, this is something also impacting industry largely, and I hope it will not go on the price of safety. Because safety, I think it's the main asset, and that we need to protect. Everyone, our families, myself, yourselves, everyone is really used to step on an airplane and don't bother about safety. You sit there, you read your book, or you even be sound asleep, but you don't think about safety, which is good, but we must not forget, it doesn't come for free, particularly not when we have this staff turnover, when we have new technologies coming, everything is done in a rush, but we have every now and then we should think about why do we have this safe system. We talk about proportionality, for instance. We have a new part 23, proportionate requirements instead of prescriptive requirement. But then there was, in one of the recent forums we had with industry, EASA was told to be, on large aeroplanes, you should also come with proportionate requirements. And you should not see the detail, you should not see the component, you should not see even the system level. You should see things from aircraft level. But then, on aircraft level, it's nicely said. But when you look at the traditional approach, first comes the component, be it TSO approved or whatever approved, or following a certain industry standard, SAE, EuroKE, you name it. Then, once this is achieved, you look at the system level, where we have system level requirements. And finally, once that is achieved, you look at the entire aircraft level. And I think with those 3 lines of defense, we established a very good and very safe system. And we always need to remind that. And particularly when it comes for newer entrants or people having less experience, we should remind them to say, wait a minute, the system is there because for a certain reason. And I think safety doesn't come for free. I said this already. We should always remind that. And finally, before I close, I would like to thank Colin and Gregory for running the show. And our assistants, Erika, Angela, Frida, Anna, Philip, and Raluca, and the contractors. And particular Virginie, the contractors, audiovisual technicians, and the caretakers. And I hope still that you stay with us the coming 2 days for those 2 workshops. And one last word, please don't forget to challenge us. because this is what we are here for, and this is what we need. Yeah, thanks a lot, and thank you for joining.